At the beginning of the film, we see a wounded man. He was running in blood in a place as if someone had beaten him a lot. Where suddenly a man came sitting on the ATV who was wearing a strange mask. Now the masked man before his sniper sees the man and aims, then shoots him, which made him fall down injured. And now the masked killer comes to the injured man, cuts his hand with a big knife, then leaves his hands there, ties the man to his ATV and left from there. Now we see a girl, Allison, who came to a shop because she was looking for a wedding dress. As soon as she went to check wearing that dress, a woman wearing a drawn mask came and scared her. Allison Chinai found out that she is not a woman, but her husband. Jadrasil is a very famous and hit YouTuber who puts pranks, jokes, funny videos on his channel. He does all these pranks by scaring his wife Allison in different ways. Not drawn, but by making a different look, which makes Allison very worried. This is why she often sees drawn things, which made it clear that she had a little problem with her mind. She was also serious. Her mood was bad. That's why her husband took Allison to the doctor, where the doctor says it's not a big deal. Allison just stay happy, enjoy, and don't worry too much. Now when she was going back after meeting the doctor, she met her old friend. They got together and started talking a lot. Her friend says that I and my friend David sold a studio and bought a church, which was very big and very good. We made some changes to it and made it like a new house. And now we live there. We have a lot of fun. You guys will also like our new house. I am inviting you. Be sure to come there. Hearing this, Allison was very happy. Seeing her, her husband also agrees to go to his friend's house. Now as the weekend holiday came, they both left to go to their friend's house so that they could spend the whole holiday there. When she reached home, it was not her friend, but her friend David, who welcomed her and brought her inside the house. Looking at his style, it seemed that he liked the acting very much. Is he an actor? Allison gives flowers to David, who likes him very much. David says that my friend has gone out of work for a while. He will be back in a while. After that, they both started roaming in their friend's house. They liked the whole house very much, because it didn't seem that this house was a church before. That's why those people were very happy. Their eyes went to different masks there, which looked very strange and drowning. Seeing them, Allison felt very bad. She was disturbed. When she asks her husband about this, David replies that my friend likes to collect such things. And all these masks are part of his collection. After which the three of them eat dinner together. The whole atmosphere was like a party. They drank alcohol and enjoyed a lot. After finishing the party, David shows them his funny dance and makes them enjoy a lot. After the dance, he makes them drink mushroom tea, which was intoxicating. They both like the tea very much. But as soon as they drink, Allison and her husband get intoxicated. They start dancing like crazy. Now after finishing the party, David also sleeps on the sofa. After a while, when Allison did not see her husband, she starts looking for him everywhere. As soon as she went to the room, she sees these ghosts there, who try to hide after seeing Allison. Allison thought that this is my husband who is trying to prank me again. That's why she thinks of him as her husband and says that I am not afraid. There is no use of all this. Now come out. But now her husband came from the back, because of which Allison is very scared. She asks Allison that who were you talking to? Then she looks at the table where the ghost was sitting. But surprised, there is no one there. That's why Allison thought that because we drank alcohol, this is happening to me because of intoxication. She then smiles and tells her husband that the doctor is asking a lot of money for my treatment. That's why I thought that we will save our money and I will do my own treatment. That is, by being happy and enjoying. Because my mood has improved here. That's why now these two went to the room and enjoy a lot. After a while, Allison woke up. When she went to the washroom to take a bath, she saw herself lying in the bathtub. She was also surprised that suddenly she started seeing a ghost in her place in the bathtub, which was looking very scary, because her whole body was burnt. Allison's condition worsened. She ran away in fear. After a while, when she came back to the washroom and saw, there was no one there. She came back and started looking for her husband who was sleeping on the bed. But now there was no one there. That's why she started looking for him everywhere. When she came down, she saw a scary mask and once again her condition began to deteriorate, with which the ghost came there again. He lifts Allison in the air and sends her to the basement. Now Allison's husband was shown who was sleeping on the same bed. Whereas a while ago when Allison came to him, he could not see him anywhere. He now woke up. When Allison's eyes did not come, he started looking for him everywhere. That's when his eyes went out, where Allison was completely lost. She was in deep thought. She was not conscious. She did not even know that without clothes. Seeing her in this condition, her husband came out quickly. He covers Allison with a cloth and brings her inside the house, where she was not conscious yet. She was just crying. Her husband tries to turn on the light, but he found out that there is no power in the house. That's why he called David and started looking for him everywhere, but he could not find him anywhere. That's why Allison's husband himself started sharing the power supply. He was hoping that he would get electricity, but he did not get anything. That's why he fails and comes back to Allison, where Allison was scared. She asks her husband, "How long have we been here?" He replies that we have been here for 10 to 12 hours. Hearing this, Allison pointed at the flowers. She was so scared that if we have come so little time, how did our flowers wither so quickly? Now when her husband looked at the flowers, he was also very surprised. Now she starts looking for her phones everywhere to see the time, but she does not get the phone anywhere. But Allison's husband gets the radio there. By turning it on, he found out the date of the day. Hearing this, both were very surprised. He found out that they have come here not for 10 to 12 hours, but for 4 days. That means they woke up after 4 days. And this is the reason that the flowers also withered. That's why Allison was very scared. She started shouting at her husband, "Hurry up, I have to go home from here." Then her husband says, "Get the phone first, because only by calling someone, we can call for help here." And while looking for the phone, Allison's eyes go to the painting of Mother Mary. When she looks at it carefully, she sees a camera in the eye of the painting. When Allison's husband took it out, he found out that it was still on, which meant that someone has been keeping an eye on them for 4 days. This made Allison's husband very angry at David. That's why he looks for her everywhere. He calls her, but he doesn't know anything about her. When Allison was standing here, he saw the same ghost again, who ran to Allison. He grabbed her and started screaming loudly. It felt like he was trying to say something to Allison. Seeing him, Allison got very scared. She started screaming. Now we saw her in the camera, where only Allison was standing. The ghost was only visible to her. Seeing her, she was screaming. Hearing her scream, her husband came there quickly. He silences her and calms her down. Similarly, now Allison came to her senses. And now she tells her husband to go home as soon as possible. That's why both of them packed their things and left, to go home. But both of them got even more worried when they came out, because their car was also not there. Now because Allison didn't want to go back to that house. That's why both of them walked ahead. Then we saw that there was a sniper watching both of them, who was no one else but the first masked killer, who had killed that man, and tied him with his ATV and took him away. Allison had depression. Her medicine she starts asking her husband. But her husband remembered that the medicine has left the house. Now because of all this situation, her husband got worried. He got angry, because of which he starts screaming loudly. The killer had made a target on them through the sniper. He was also about to shoot them. While Allison's husband says that we will go home for the medicine, because that medicine was very important for him. Now although she also refuses, but he wanted to go for the medicine anyway. So he didn't listen to Allison and left to go home, saying that I will go to take medicine inside the house, and you stand outside and wait for me to come back. Now when the killer saw that both of them were going home, so for now he cancels the plan to kill them. After coming home, her husband with an axe sneaks in through the back door. He was looking for the medicine. That's when he heard Allison scream from outside, because the ghost had caught him again. Hearing the voice, her husband saw outside through the window, where someone was dragging Allison and taking her to the basement. Seeing this, her husband does not understand how this is happening, because the ghost was not visible to him. Only Allison was able to see. So now her husband went down with an axe to save Allison. He was looking for her. That's when he found her in the basement outside the house, standing near a computer. She was looking at the screen with great surprise. Looking at the computer here, her husband was also very surprised, because he was thinking that how is the power supply here? But then he looked at the big generator there. He understood that with the help of this, the power supply is present here. And now both of them see their 4-day recording on the screen, which someone had put on a secret dark web. She also included that video. When alone at night, Allison and her husband were together. A lot of people had seen everything in the video. Actually, all these videos. The killer had put on the mask of the same beginning. The killer had made all his videos into episodes, uploaded like a season. In his video, he also sees David and his friend, Jeannie Killer had caught. That is, the David who had welcomed him at home. He was not the real David. Then who was he? We will find out the answer to this later. The killer was hitting him a lot by making him unconscious. He was torturing him. In the next video, he saw that when David's friend became shy, the killer started beating him badly, because of which the poor guy is in a lot of pain. The killer was bothering him with his cut hand, and this cut hand was of the man at the beginning, with which we could understand that at that time in the beginning, the killer who had killed him was no one else. In fact, it was the real David. Now Allison saw the same thing here again, when she went to check. So he was David's friend, who was tied here by beating him badly. His condition was very bad. These people open it and start taking it from there. But then the killer comes in front of them with a gun, which tells Allison to dance on the gunfight, so that the viewers who watch his videos enjoy it. Allison had no other way. That's why she starts dancing in fear, where the killer shoots David's friend and kills him. As soon as he dies, he comes close to his body. He starts screaming loudly, as if he is sad about his death. Allison was also very scared to see him. She couldn't bear the sound of the ghost. That's why she puts her hand on her ears. Then the killer comes from behind Allison's husband and stabs him in it. That's why she started worrying about Allison. He tells her to run away from there. But Allison's attention was completely on the ghost. Along with that, she had put her hand on her ears. That's why she couldn't hear her husband's voice. And now the killer puts a rod in Allison's husband's head, with which he was also killed. Now when Allison's eyes fell on her husband, seeing his death, she breaks a lot. But without wasting time to save her life, she starts running away from there. To escape the killer, she hides behind a log. But the killer had seen her. He shoots on the arm and injures Allison. She gets up. She runs away from there and goes to a store to hide. The killer also came there. But Allison doesn't see him anywhere. She feels that she has run away from here. That's why he starts removing the ATV, so that he can go to find Allison. He was preparing to leave. But then Allison comes from behind. She pierces a large nail in his head, because of which the killer's mask was removed. And now we know that this killer is no one else. In fact, he is the same man who welcomed them as David. And now Allison starts running away with the ATV. Then the killer attaches the last part of the pecus in the nail and moves his neck forward, due to which the nail in his neck comes out. Although this thing was very painful, but nothing happened to this mad killer. The killer picks up his sniper. He shoots Allison and shoots her. As soon as the bullet hit, Allison was injured and fell there. And now the killer started moving towards her quickly. He puts a mask on his face again and starts talking to his viewers through the ATV camera. But then Allison comes from behind and grabs his neck with the belt to kill the killer, although he tries a lot to get himself out. But Allison doesn't leave and finally kills him because she was also very injured. That's why she falls unconscious there. And now we see that scene when Allison and her husband were invited to their house by their friend. Then we saw that the killer was also sitting here, who was hiding and keeping an eye on them, was recording their video from the camera, from which we came to know that this killer was already keeping an eye on them to collect information about them. He had done this before with many people. He used to enter their house, kill them, and make videos, and put it on the secret dark web, which would be very beneficial to him. He used to get a lot of money. Now the killer was a big fan of Allison and her husband's channel. He used to like them. After seeing them, he also started his channel. And he did all this so that he could bring his favorite YouTuber in the video as a cast and put their videos on the dark web. That is, when Allison and her husband did all this, she kept an eye on them. And when she found out that Allison and her husband were going to her friend's house, then she thought that this is a golden chance for me. She first kidnapped David and his friend. Then he started to imprison them and commit a lot of atrocities. This is how he started recording his video. While he started living with them as David, he sets up cameras all over the house. While the real David somehow escaped his imprisonment in the beginning, but the killer caught him and killed him mercilessly. Then he set it on fire and burned it all. That is, David's death was so terrible. After that, he killed David's friend in the basement and closed it. He took advantage of being David, because he knew that Allison and her friend had never seen David before. And the ghost that was repeatedly visible to Allison was not anyone else's, but it was David's, which was only visible to him, because he was trying to give a sign to Allison, that my friend is in the basement, save him. This is the reason that when David's friend died, then his ghost came to his dead body and started screaming in pain. Now he was doing this because he was a fake David's killer, because he was very fond of secret videos, dance, and strange acting. Not of himself, but of others. That's why he recorded everything in his videos that he could. He killed so many people mercilessly, after doing wrong with them. But Allison finally finished his work. That's why his madness ended here. This bad game was not going to continue from now on. And with this, the story of this movie also ends here.